Eartha Pond.
Playing at the highest level of women's football, Eartha played for top teams such as Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham. The multifaceted Eartha later turned her hand to teaching and quickly moved up the ranks to assistant head teacher. With a work ethic so strong, she became internationally recognised and awarded as a finalist for the Global Teacher Award. Eartha is a positive force within the community. She's a councillor, a Grenfell campaigner who raised over $85,000 for victims and the founder of ESP Foundation for young people. Let's find out what motivates the motivator.
Whoa, let's find out what motivates the motivator. I love that. Thank you for joining me. My name's Rudi. I always say my name was, whereas in actual fact, my name is and always has been Rudi Lickwood. Thanks for joining me, man. Hey, you notice something? I noticed something straight away. None of my Facebook people ever here. Not one of my Facebook people ever here. And the thing is that I do believe Facebook has gone down. Facebook has gone down, which means that it's going to be a lot of trouble for a lot of people right about now, especially a lot of my comic friends who reach out via Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. So, I mean, what's that going to mean for us now? What is that seriously going to mean? It's going to mean that we're going to have to, I guess, set up our own platforms, aren't we? We're going to have to look for a different way to communicate. We're going to have to become more self-reliant, you know, because there are other platforms that we could use, like Front Room. Yeah, remember Black Chat? We had Black Chat. We had our own platform. Yeah, but because Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and them lot were more popular, etc., we all jumped on that train because it's like we all wanted to be in the same bus. It's a bit like the civil rights when you think about it. Before the civil rights movement in America, black people actually had their own taxis, their own buses, their own services. Yeah. But then once the civil rights movement came in, it was like, you know what? I want to sit next to the white person and I want to sit there. I want to be a part of. And it's like we forgot our own and we didn't develop and we didn't grow and we just integrated. Yeah. So what can I say? What can I say? Seems like a lot of people are going to catch this on catch up, which is fine. But when you do, please make sure that you like and you subscribe. That's very important. Hit the like and subscribe button so that, one, you could share it. Yeah. And two, I can get more people following me because I've got 2 followers. Come on, I've only got 2. Right. So make sure that you do that for me. So my guest today, I was watching Andrew Muhammad, the investigator, where I came across my guest, and she only said a few words. I didn't hear her say much, but what I did hear her say was that she was involved in football. She was involved in the community. She was extremely aspirational, and it really got me to say, you know what, I need to get hold of that individual. I really need to get hold of an individual who goes by the name of Eartha Pond. And just by coincidence, on the following day, which was a Wednesday, I normally go for a walk around the park. It's called We Walk Wednesdays with Dodds and Scotty. And she happened to be there. And I thought to myself, I bet if I ask her, she's going to say no. I said, so we went around the park a couple of times. And I turned around and I just said, I saw you last night on Andrew Muhammad's show. And, you know, I did reach out and I was wondering if you'd like to come on my chat show, Keep It Real, with Rudi Lickwood. And I was surprised when she actually said yes. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised when she actually said yes, because she's an extremely individual, as we're about to find out. Yeah. So don't forget, like, subscribe. That's the most important thing that you can do. I know a lot of you are going to catch this on catch up. It's not your fault, right? Facebook is down. It's down. All right. WhatsApp is down. It's down. All right. Instagram is out of it. Okay. So the moment that they're back, I will put this up on Facebook and you guys can join in the conversation. But before I do that, allow me to bring on my guest, Eartha Pond. Hello, Eartha.
Good evening, Rudy. How are we doing?
Well, I'm doing as well as I can do right about now, considering that Facebook is no longer with us at the moment. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I am. I tried to log on myself earlier on to post a few things and it just weren't working. I thought it was my network. I was about to start tweeting and going mad. I was switching my phone off and on. And then I saw someone post that, oh, it's down. So I gave them the luck of the draw. I was like, okay, they get off lightly this time. But I was about to go wild on Twitter about them. So yeah, it's down, but we're here, which is important. The most important thing.
Yeah, and I mean, the first thing that I picked up on you just now was the fact that you like things to be on point.
100%. I don't know if it's the Virgo, the perfectionist in me, but yeah, I like things to be in order as they should be.
Virgo? Are you actually a Virgo?
That's the best, only the best.
Is it?
Only the best.
So me and you is a Virgo then. Me and you is a
Virgo.
Oh,
yes, lovely, good, the best. See, this is why we're having the conversation.
Okay, because I'm the 18th. I'm the 18th.
I'm the 4th. I'm the same as Beyonce is the same as me, and Cardi B just had a baby the same day as me, so they're lucky to be able to join me on my special day for sure.
I noticed the way you put yourself in front there like that.
Yeah, wow, that's what you've got to be. If I'm not going to champion me, who's going to do it?
That's true. That is true. I mean, I find it difficult to kind of like blow my own horn, to be honest with you. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because is that where your self-belief comes from? I mean, where does your belief come from?
Do you know what it is? For me, it's just about making progress and just keep learning and keep getting better. So it's not necessarily saying, oh, I want to be at this specific astronomical level. It's just about, I want to be better than I was yesterday and keep learning, keep, I guess, opening myself up to opportunities, and I guess keep seeing other people's paradigms and experiencing what it is and how they get to their views and not really being judgmental. So keeping a smile on my face all the way through it and yeah, see where it gets you.
Because I notice you do smile a lot, and you do, like you said, you're not judgmental. You're always, everything for you is that, what is the solution? What is the solution? It's not a case of what did you do wrong? Why did you? It's like, what is the solution? It's like, how could this be repaired? It's like, what else could we do? Kind of like, which is not really, I guess, a lot of way that are. It's not really the way that people normally think. If you follow what I mean, that's why
I get it, but for me, it's about, okay, if something's gone wrong or there's a negative, it's always good to reflect and see, like acknowledge what's gone wrong. But if you spend too much time dwelling on it, it means you can't move forward. So me, I'm really just seeking about what can we do, not what can't we do, or do you know what I mean? What's gone wrong? We acknowledge it, but actually, how can we move forward and how can we go in the right direction? So I guess that's just something that I've always try to live with and I guess drive forward with, and hopefully I can maybe rub a bit of that off on maybe young people around me, to see, I guess, the future's, you've got to have hope in it. You've got to have some sort of hope, and the future's bright, even in your darkest time. As my grand would say, every disappointment is a blessing. So
right. This is what I want. This is the question that I'm asking myself. I'm asking myself, where is the foundation for your thought process? I mean, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, there's always someone, or is it dad? Is it mum? Is it who? And the first person that's come out of your mouth is your gran.
Yeah. So I guess I get a bit from everyone, and that's maybe the beauty. I seek to see like what learnings and teachings can I take from different people, not just family, but just people I come in contact with. I guess that key kind of point of empathy and really just trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes and I guess work out how they've worked that out and I guess made that decision is really important. And as you said, there's sort of key things that, like my gran said, that help me in the moments when sometimes you're just like, do you know what? You want to throw it all away and just like go wild. And sometimes you've got to say, okay, that's happened for a reason. And I guess how do we move forward without going buck wild, as they say, and doing the wrong thing in the moment. So yeah, really important.
So was you born in the UK? Was you born UK?
I was born in the UK, Paddington, West London, family born and raised, mother, aunts, cousins, siblings, everyone's here. So yeah, this is home. This is the dreamland, sirens and concrete.
So you're a Paddington girl.
This
or
is
you were
it.
a Paddington girl.
I still am. I'm still in Paddington. This is where I'm a councillor in Queen's Park. That's my constituency. So I see the kids every day, and the sort of community members, whether that's in a youth club setting, whether that's in Iceland on the high road, whether that's in the post office. This is where I'm at for sure.
Has Iceland closed down has Iceland closed down?
No, we're bad, but we're not that bad. We still got our Iceland. That's where Mum's going. Oh, yeah, we have to have an Iceland for sure.
Yeah, because what was that shop that you lot used to have on the corner, man? 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. It's called Zargo's now.
Yeah, you used to have a 7-Eleven down your side there. I remember that, man. And they used to come out in that little square, and they used to have like something would be going on or whatever. The square's still popping. We're still getting our antisocial behaviour notices coming through. The locals are still there taking it over as it should be. So they're still out and about for sure. So I take it that you're one of two. Is that right?
I'm one of 8.
Jesus Christ, one of 8.
Not one of 2. I'm one of 8. So yeah, definitely in and amongst the mix. Really large family, loads of cousins.
So where are you? Where are you in the 8? Where are you in the 8?
I'm 4th. I'm slap bang in the middle. Slap bang in the middle. So
you've always been a mediator.
I've always been a mediator. That's what it is. I don't want any trouble. I just want things to run smoothly. I'm not the one who likes getting licks. I follow instructions. I'm not disobedient. I watch when the older ones do the wrong things, try and guide the younger ones not to follow in their footsteps, and yeah, just definitely keep it moving.
I think that's the best way to learn, though, isn't it? Learning from other people's mistakes.
For sure, definitely. And to be honest, I don't think my sort of siblings made that much mistakes. I guess just in regards to the hard of hearing and stuff like that, I definitely, my skin was way too soft for that belt. So I knew to make sure I was kept in line for sure. And I guess I still tried to navigate and push myself to like the line. So I always, I guess, played the game at school as far as I could. Sometimes I misjudged it and went over that line. And obviously got the necessarily punishments. But yeah, for me, it's just about, as I said, just learning from others around me. But also, I guess if you take risks, there's consequences that come along with it. But I guess all the sort of exceptional people and outstanding people take those big risks, I guess, at some moment in time. So yeah,
you seem like you're quite a character. You seem like you're quite a character at school.
Yeah, for sure. So as you can see, I'm definitely, not necessarily, I don't know why I'm in the middle trying to be center of attention. I'm literally one of the youngest in that whole picture. But yeah, definitely like to be in and amongst others, and I guess not necessarily playing the fool, but really just trying to, I guess, implement other people's characteristics, and yeah, just letting everyone have a fun time and really trying to be part of that as well at the same time.
So was school fun for you though?
I loved school. Like literally, I didn't bunk never one day. Like unfortunately,
bunk school.
Never. Like the teachers must hate me for it because I never missed a lesson. I was always there. And that's why I don't understand sometimes when kids don't like school, because I loved it so much. Primary school, secondary school. Like I didn't bunk because I didn't understand like going to sit in the dirty toilets. I've come all the way to school.
We used to bunk and either go to the shop. We used to bunk and go to the Natural History Museum. We used to do some weird things, man. Do you know what I mean?
Not one day, I was in school, unless I was obviously sick, which was hardly ever. I didn't give the teachers a break. I was in school all the time. Trust me, I was there. So loved school, loved all the different subjects. I can't say that the teachers felt the same way about me because I was always pushing the boundaries, but I was there all the time and yeah, enjoyed it 100%.
Excellent. So first of all, let me just say hello, Claire. How you doing? I don't want you to feel as though you're being ignored. I'm not sure if you're aware that Facebook is not online. They've been down for a couple of hours now. which will mean that I'm going to have to put this show out on record, on replay on Facebook. So I don't anticipate having as many views as we would normally have. But never mind, people will start popping in once they realize that it's not on Facebook. Where's Rudi? What's going on? What's going on? Claire has just now said, I never bunked. Is that bunk school either? So we've got two goody two shoes in the room.
Me and Claire will definitely be friends. We'll be in the classroom doing our thing, like listening to the teacher, getting some work done. But also, I don't know if Claire had the same report as me and every one of my siblings. Great worker, but spoke too much, disrupts others. Like literally, that was the report. They should have just copied and pasted it for all of my siblings. Too much chatting.
Is it use a chatterbox at school?
Yeah, but I still got my work done, so I knew how to play the game. I'll do the work and then start chatting. So when the teacher said, "Oh, you haven't done," I'll just be like, "Done it."
Because I noticed that you're extremely articulate. You're not just articulate. You're extremely articulate, and that kind of implies that you got good grades.
Do you know what? I could have got better grades actually. So I wasn't necessarily aspirational, like where I've stretched myself and challenged myself. I did enough so that the teachers wouldn't bother me. I got what I guess you expect from someone from an inner city school. And to be honest, if I wanted to do better, I could have, but I did enough, I guess, to be able to juggle the different things that I liked doing. So playing sports, being in the class, not necessarily entertainer, but having fun in school, enjoying it, but at the same time still learning. So it worked for me for sure.
Well, Claire said that she was the quiet girl. Had a good school report, but I was a quiet girl. Well, swings and roundabouts, I suppose, Claire, swings and roundabouts. You know, you make your way. So the thing is that sport was what you gravitated to.
Yeah, definitely sport. I played loads of any sport, anything to. Do you know what it is? I loved being in school as well, but I loved coming out of the classroom. So if there was like a netball game and they needed players and it would get me out of lesson, I'd play netball. If there was still pans, I'm doing it because it gets you out of class. I played football, like anything that got you out of class. I went out and did it. I was in that group. I wanted to be there. So I enjoyed playing sports. I was great at the sort of transferable skills. So things like coordination and all that stuff was great, both hand and eye, foot, all that sorts of stuff. So I actually got selected for England playing basketball at the same time as I did playing football. But I had to make a choice.
And handball. Is it handball?
And handball, yes. But I literally had to make a choice because it clashed with the training times and everything was at the same time. So I had to pick one, and obviously I started football first and I loved it. So I just went down the football route for sure.
So what was it? Was it more a case of trying to let the boys know, or was it just a case of no, this is actually what I actually like? Was you because you've got this competitive nature about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So initially it was because when I was in primary school at about 9, I wanted to play football at break time, and the boy said no. No is definitely not something that works for me. So I literally just stood in the middle of the pitch and disrupted the game for everybody. So if I'm not playing, no one's playing. So I was kicking the ball for both teams. The game just couldn't flow. And then the learning support teacher who you saw in that photo actually was mediating and said, okay, like she has to be able to play. You can't tell her no. And then they negotiated, and the boy said, okay, she can go in goal. So I didn't really want to go in goal, but I got to give and take a bit. So I thought, okay, at least I'm playing now. So I was on the pitch in goal, and no word of a lie, they must have blasted the ball from 1 yard. They were toe punting it the hardest. Like they were toe punting it from like 1 yard, like literally. And then after a period of time, I got actually really, really good in goal. Okay. And then they couldn't score. Like, obviously my mum weren't happy because all my uniform was rip up because I was diving on concrete. But I got really good in goal, and then they were like, okay, go on pitch, because obviously now they couldn't score and now they couldn't celebrate. So it's like a learning process again, where I then had to go and learn again out on pitch and be an outfield player. But it was really beneficial because I played with boys from, as I said, from the age of sort of 9 or 10. So by the time I transferred into the women's game, it was super easy because I was playing, for example, under 18 boys football at the age of 12. So by the time I'd gone at 12 or 13, gone to women's football, it was like a breeze because I'm used to playing with the big boys who are like, if you can't handle it, don't come on the pitch. So they're barging me, they're tackling me exactly how they would with their peers. So yeah, I transitioned into women's football really, really easy.
I found that quite surprising when you say that you had because initially you kind of go, well, I had soft skin, which kind of gives the impression that you're girly kind of like thing, and the idea of barging or pushing or being, because studs, obviously, as you know, it's not deliberate, but sometimes studs ends up on your foot kind of like thing, but because you mentioned that you was playing with the boys, so these are these some of the boys that you was playing with.
That is definitely some of the boys. They're the ones who I had to convince. They're the ones whose game I was popping down, and then they were like, okay, let her play. But yeah, after a while, as you see, I got really good. So I went from being in goal, from the demoted goalkeeper, as you can see, to an outfield player, which went really, really well. And yeah, I just got better and better. And by the time I was in sort of 13, 14, I was playing with like under 20, 23 men. So it was quite easy to transition into the women's game for sure.
And I can't help but notice that in both of these pictures, you've got medals.
Yeah, well, that's where the competitive nature stands out. And I don't know why I'm not looking that happy. Maybe I didn't score a hat trick in the final or something. But as you can see, we obviously won. But still, I weren't happy. So actually, that previous pitch that you had is the same competition, but the schools version. And the boys competition. So as you can see, I played in the boys competition, and then I also went and competed.
I have to ask you, what was that like when you came out onto the pitch and you were the only girl? What was the opposition like? What was there?
It was good because they underestimated me. They just thought, oh, she's just a girl playing. And then little did they know, I was like the star player. There even times actually in those competitions when if I'd played against another school who had a boy who knew me, they'd basically ask the teacher or the officials to not allow me to play because it's a boys competition. So to ban me from playing because they knew if I played, the advantage that it will be for them. So there's actually a couple of times where they've refused for me to be able to play with the boys because they're like, oh, the rules say it's for boys only, knowing that they will get an advantage by me not participating in their team. So
okay. Antigua has just said blessings, Rudi, and welcome, Eartha.
Good evening.
Good evening, Antigua. Thank you very much for joining us. The Facebook crowd, them get brush off. You remember when we used to talk about black chat and all them kind of thing there? Now it's coming to fruition. Now it is coming to fruition. But here with me today is Eartha Pond, and we're just getting into the fact that she's highly competitive. Been playing football from the age of 9, even before that, and can't even. Well, what's that? Yeah, I know. Can't even share this anywhere with Facebook and WhatsApp down. Lad, me know. Antigua's also saying, love your determination, pursuing despite everything. Because the first thing that really comes to mind is that at that age, was you aware that you was up against sexism?
Not really, because I guess I believed I had the right to be wherever I wanted to be. So I didn't even really take it on, if I'm honest. And I guess coming from a family of 7 other siblings, I think at that time I most probably had about 4. We just kind of got things done. Like even on the roads that I lived, I played with my neighbours.
Did you do the staying out till the lights? When back in the day,
yeah,
right, used to play football until the lights would come out. Did you stay like?
That was me. Yeah, I definitely stayed out until the lights came on. But also on the road where I lived, there was a lot of young kids that played there anyway. So we just used to play outside our houses and mash up people's windows and cars.
Use the dustbin lids and thing.
that we used to use the cars as the goal. So
Seriously?
literally, if
No,
there
you
was a
lot are
gap,
out of order. You lot are out of
if
order.
there was a gap, you just
No,
play
you
in
lot are out of
between
order.
it.
That's out of order, man, because that means that someone's going to smack the ball into somebody's onto someone's windscreen.
We were the official parking wardens then. So if there was a gap and someone tried to park a car, we're like, no, that's the goal. You can't park the car there because that's the gap that we need for the goal. So yeah, it was great that we were able to do that.
No, you lot are wrong, man. You lot are wrong, because the thing is, I remember that when I got used to play, there never used to be as many cars on the road back in the day. So you'd always get a 5 or 10 minute break, whereby the game could, you know what I mean, the game could run, kind of like thing. And then as commuting got a lot more busier, and then more people got onto the roads, everybody started driving. Less and less was you able to, because you can't play football on the road anymore. So it's not possible.
Definitely not anymore. And I guess we had a little side road off our road as well called Kumasi, and someone had painted like a goal frame on either side. So we literally, it was literally about, I don't know, 15 yards apart, but that was literally a whole football pitch. You could get 10 aside on there, even though there's no space. So you needed quick feet, like the whole lot. Like literally, I think that's why we were so good, because we're in such a confined space. You had to be really good. That was our like mini cage, but without a cage, just literally on the road.
So then, when was you actually spotted? Then how did you get spotted? Because I mean, you took the football to another level.
So when I joined secondary school, there was a couple of girls who were playing for Arsenal, and they went to a different youth club down in Ladbroke Grove, and they was like, oh, the guy that one of the youth workers there, he's like a scout, and he like brings players down to the club. So come down and like come and train with us. So I went down to the Harrow Club, which is literally the youth club opposite near where Grenfell is. And I started training there, and the guy there, the youth worker, was like, yeah, we need to bring you down. Within like a couple of weeks, he brought me down to Arsenal with the rest of the girls, and yeah, they signed me straight away on the first night, and I guess the rest is history.
So you got signed the first night them actually seeing you?
Yeah, signed me on the first night. I think I lobbed the manager and like just was doing some street football stuff and was going wild. And obviously I was a lot stronger than most of the girls because I've been playing with the boys anyway by that time. So again, I was able to stand out because yeah, it was just that, I guess, the cut above the rest, just purely because I've been playing with boys. And yeah, I guess that was one of the reasons why I stood out.
So what position did you actually adopt?
So I guess at that young age, I started off playing in sort of centre midfield. And then when I went to Chelsea at about 14, I then went into defence again because I was quite rough, not necessarily rough, but a lot sterner. That at that age, I was able to play against women, even at that young age, and still be able to sort of boss it from the back. So yeah, then I went into defence and I literally played left back for majority of the time.
Because I must admit, when I saw this image and I saw it was the left foot, I asked myself, because I was going to ask you earlier on, are you right-footed or are you left-footed?
I'm a baller. I'm both-footed.
Shut up. I'll hear her about I'm a baller.
You like that one, innit?
Yeah, man, I'm a baller, innit? I'm a baller.
Yeah.
No.
Left foot, right foot, we make it work. But yeah, so as I said, I sort of took up that role of left back, but I also, as I said, I started off in goal. So a lot of the time for a lot of the sort of Premiership teams and stuff that I played for, at times they wouldn't have a second goalkeeper. That would be me. So if the goalkeeper got injured, I will go in goal. So I've played cup finals against the likes of Arsenal and beat them, and I've been the goalkeeper because our goalkeeper's been injured. Against Fulham, played in goal, as I said, in finals and stuff. So I am decent in goal as well as playing in defence. So I guess they will be my two main positions that I have played in. So
tell us, what teams have you played for? Because what's this image that I'm seeing here? So that's an image. I actually went back to school to do a presentation at my secondary school, Queen's Park Community, which you might know in Brent, used to be Elstone. I know that dotty school.
The School of Champions. That's right.
My daughter, both my daughters went there when it was called the Queen's Park.
Yeah. So she's lucky. That's the greats go to that school. So that was one of my when I signed for Charlton. After I left, where was I then? I think I was at Chelsea. Went to Charlton, and that was my first FA Cup final shirt that I played in at the age of, I think must have been 17, 18. And so that's what my PE teacher, who literally just retired at the end of the academic year, actually. So he was at Queen's Park for 30 years, I believe. And that's me just holding up my PE kit jumper. I think it's changed now. I think it's grey. But I went to hand out some awards to some of the next generation of sports stars at the school. I just made sure they knew who was responsible for all those trophies in the cabinet that they've got at the front of the school.
I've seen those trophies. Now I know. So you went to Charlton. Was it first Charlton? You said?
Yeah, Arsenal was the first team. Then I went to Chelsea.
Arsenal, Chelsea,
Charlton. I went back to Arsenal because when I left school, I went to their academy and it was just easier. So I went back to Arsenal. I went back to Chelsea. That's when this is a picture when I went to America. So I left and went to America and played the season out there, pro. And then at the time I was teaching at the same time. Okay. And I don't know if you know, when you do your qualifications, you've got like a time period that you have to complete it. No. So I was on my last year, so I had to complete it and come back to the UK. Otherwise, I would have most probably stayed out in the US. But because I had to wrap up that qualification, I had to come back to England and get that qualification completed in time. But yeah, amazing. Went out there, played for Buffalo Flash, which is, I think they've changed their name now. They're called New York Courage or something like that in the top league in America now. And really great experience.
But you did this as a pro, you said.
So basically I had to take a sabbatical leave from work, from school, and leave early before the end of term to go and play a pro season out in America, because it's before the end of our term time. So I had to leave my work, my job essentially, and the school agreed to, I guess, give me time off and have a place when I came back, but with the premise that I did come back and finish off my qualification and return back to the school. So they allowed for me to do that.
Because the thing is so even as a professional footballer, you were still teaching.
Yes. So only a couple of seasons ago now, the top league over here, where people are full time. Before that, you had to juggle your work. So, for example, at Charlton, even playing at the highest level of the women's game, we'd go to work, would train from 8 till 10, then travel back home and then be back at work in the morning. So we're usually the last ones on the pitch after the boys. So after the under 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, after all the boys have finished training and it's nearly midnight, that's when the women are allowed to go and use the facilities. And we usually like the last 2 hours at night. So about 8 till 10.
But the thing is that you've managed to not only play football at the highest level, but you also teach to the point where I'm going to play this.
A lot for charity, helped to raise more than £100,000 for the Grenfell survivors. She's now being shortlisted for a Global Teacher Prize, which is worth $1 million.
And if that's not impressive enough, then Eartha Pond's also a local councillor and plays for Tottenham Ladies Football Club. Okay, well, you know what, Eartha, there's some good stuff in that CV, and there's obviously at the end a shattering low moment for you of playing for Tottenham. You used to play for Arsenal, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
I mean, what got me there is that as a teacher, you got awards as well.
Yeah, and I guess it's not something that you sort of set yourself out to achieve. I guess I just do what I do each day, and I guess if there's recognition in it, then there is, but that's not the reason why I do it. I guess the reason why I do it is for the young people or the people that I'm serving. And for me, it's about, I guess, making sure I'm not cutting any corners. And I guess that empathy piece, it is really important in putting myself in their shoes, but also just leading with integrity. So even when people are not watching, you're doing the right things, you're turning up, and you're giving them the the full you in essence, and that's what I try to do with everything that I kind of touch or am involved with.
So that award that you received, tell us, is it the Global Teachers Prize?
Yeah, so it's a teacher's prize to recognise the importance of educators around the world. I think there was just over 34,000 nominees, and I was one of the finalists.
Across 173 countries. 173 countries.
Across 173 countries, yes. So I was shortlisted as the top 50 teachers in the world at the time.
How does that feel? How does that feel to know that you are on that level? I mean,
do you know what it is? Sometimes, I only really get to appreciate it now when I get to look back. As I said, as you said, with all the different things that I'm doing, it's for me at the time, it was just like, oh, it's just another thing. I can't kind of worry about that too much. I've got something else to do. I've got a lesson. I've got an assessment. I've got things that are happening. So I didn't really get to stop and take it in. And I guess when I went to Dubai for the sort of final ceremony, I guess it was then when it was like a light bulb moment that there's a lot of people here who are not even, for example, top 50 or really leading with integrity, that are just doing things that they want to do. And then there's me and other great teachers that I know that are just busting a gut. And I think that was the sort of moment when I thought, actually, I need to start focusing on doing things that I really want to do and things that are needed, rather than, as you said, just that work mill of just going and going and going. Because it's when you look back at opportunities like this where you're getting these accolades, but you're not really having the time to take it in and really using it to benefit for the greater good. That's where you sort of miss out. So that's why I've sort of taken a step back from being in the classroom to still have that impact, but I guess on more of a strategical level rather than operational, and having the ability to scale and impact more people's lives.
Yeah, because you talk about on a strategic level. Eartha Pond joins FA Women's Football Board as independent non-executive director. I mean, wow.
I know, right?
Wow.
Definitely a long way from receiving that first England letter at 15 to now being around that table to, I guess, help drive the strategy of the game forward. There's been a lot of gaps, and I guess I've been busy playing. I'm not one to moan about it. I just get on with it. But I guess now I have the opportunity, I guess, to bring something different to the table. I don't think there's anybody like me, if I say so myself, that's been through all the different sort of levels of the pyramid, from grassroots to centre of excellence football, to academy football, to elite level at international. Like, I've been at every stage that this women's game has to offer, and there's not many players, number one, that's been through all those layers, and number two, of colour as well. It's super rare. So the insights is super important.
Yeah, I don't really want to let that go, because obviously, you know, when I see bananas getting thrown at, you know, the likes of the three Lions who played for England the other day and missed a few penalties, you know, I'm sure it must be double that for female footballers. And if there's nobody representing us on those kind of levels that you're currently on, or you're on, or you've been on at board level, change is not gonna really come. But was it something that you saw that was needed and you kind of maneuvered, or did you just find yourself with that role, or was that role offered to you? How did that?
Yeah, well, I saw it advertised, and I definitely knew it was something that I could have an impact and contribute towards. And I guess for me, there's loads of different narratives that sort of happened around the women's game. For example, recently, one of the last recent squads, there was about 3 people out of the whole squad from London that had made it into the England squad. Then we had one of the England squads that was recently announced. There was not one person of colour in the whole squad that was announced of 23. And then there was a big uproar about it online. And then suddenly the next day, within 24 hours, they'd called up someone of colour into the squad. So it's like, why are you reacting? Because if they weren't good enough yesterday, why are they all of a sudden good enough today to be in the squad? And that same player.
I remember there was a female, I can't remember her name. I know she's got a left foot. She was a forward. and she brought it to the table. I can't remember her name, unfortunately.
What was she talking about?
Playing, it was about playing for England, as you just now pointed out. It was about playing for England and feeling excluded.
And she was left-footed.
Yeah, I'm sure she was left-footed.
Nah, they're very rare. Very rare people can do what I can do on the ball, Rudy. Are you sure she was left-footed?
This young lady's left-footed. I know that much.
No, so unless it was Yanks, was it Yankee? She's left-footed.
Yeah, Yanks. Yeah. No, listen, she was dark. She's a dark-skinned girl, long hair, right? I'm sure she played for England. Eniola
Aluko?
Yes.
She's definitely not left-footed. She's right-footed.
I've seen her score with her left foot. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, she's a prolific striker. I played with Benny at Charlton. Yeah.
Okay. Because I knew I'd seen her because I've been watching the women's game, and I must confess, I was very surprised. Yeah, I actually sit down and do watch, and I do feel highly entertained.
So Eni had quite a high profile case against the FA, which he was
correct.
Successful in winning. And Eni's very educated, so she's a barrister by trade. She understands how to, I guess, put things across how they need to be. And yeah, there was definitely some discrimination that took place. And I guess for me, a lot of it sometimes can come across as banter. But to her, who comes from a different paradigm, a different setting, a different background, where her dad's a politician quite highly in Nigeria, and her mum works in sort of the medical field, and she studies law. Again, that looked very different to her, and she was able to, I guess, articulate and bring that together to demonstrate those injustices where some just ain't able to. So yeah, there's gaps. There's major gaps.
That's the first time I've actually heard you step back and say that there is someone who is actually intelligent is not the word. There's somebody who is better placed than yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess this is the importance of, and I guess the difference in regards to environment and sort of recognizing what they might deem as acceptable and what others might deem just through their environment and their education as acceptable. So there's loads of things that she brought up and I read and I thought, oh, that happens all the time. Like that's not a case. That's not something that's not discrimination. That's like just how it is. But again, from someone from her background and her education and her upbringing, she recognized that that's not acceptable. That's not the norm. Whereas in different environments, that could be just normal banter or that's just what happens. So again, through her education, she's able to frame it in a certain way that demonstrates that actually that's not right. Even though you might feel that that's what is normal, actually in this setting and within law, that is not normal. So again, that's where I'm still being educated, and I'm like, well, they owe me some money. I need to go and I need to go backdate my cases. I've got some stuff that I need to say, but yeah, it
actually brings me. It actually, because you say that, but it brings me to wanting to talk to you more so about the fact that you're also a counsellor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you talk about being able to frame things and being able to articulate and get things across, and that's, to me, you quite clearly demonstrate that here. It's not something I want to dwell on too much, but it's a way of me kind of like demonstrating you.
The official responses, I mean, do you believe that there are a lot more people who remain missing, who are not included in that number of 79?
You can see it from the posters on the wall. There are still people that are missing that are not accounted for. There's still, if you look at households per floors, there's still, the maths doesn't add up. If we look at official documents, we still want an official one to come from the government, as in who was supposed to be in that building at the time, and they're just not giving us that information.
Well, I mean, that's you in your with your counsellor hat on, if I'm correct.
Yeah, with my counsellor hat on, but also bringing my insights from a community level and from a granular level. So I knew people who lived in Grenfell. I know the environment. I know, for example, there's a high demographic of Muslim occupants. I know it was a time of Ramadan where people would have been breaking fast that don't live in that building. So all these different narratives they hadn't accounted for. It was literally trying to keep the number as low as possible, and then unless someone sort of came forward or was reported or had been found or documented, that was all they were sort of revealing. So yeah, I guess for we were all still trying to find answers at the time, and again, it's that people still have their opinions about official numbers and what numbers, and obviously as we have to mark the respect of those who we know have been sort of documented, and we sort of look at that and remember that each month. But yeah, I guess the inquiry is there to find out those deeper details and get justice, which is the main thing.
Because I mean, I'm asking myself, where do you find the time to fit it all in?
It's really, it's not time. It's energy management. Like everyone has 24 hours. It's just about what you put your energy to, how you break that up. And I guess for me, it's about dealing with things that are both urgent and important. So there's things that will be important but not urgent, or and it's about how do you, I guess, weigh that up and make sure that you do what you feel is best in regards to allocation of energy. And once that's done and you've done as much as you can each day, then you go to bed and say, that's as much as I've done, and tomorrow's a new day, and we go again. And I guess that's just how I live my life.
So you woke up one morning and you thought, yeah, I've done the football, I've been around the world. Do you know what I mean? This is all fine. But you know what? I look out the window and it looks like the community needs help. I'm going to become a councillor.
Exactly that. How do I help?
Seriously.
No, it's literally, I don't say like, oh, I want to be this and I want to be that. Sometimes I just see like some young people might say something or have aspirations to be in a certain position, and they don't see anyone that looks like them. So they might say, we can't be in that position. And sometimes I just go in those positions to demonstrate, like, we're from the same place. I'm here. You can be here. Not necessarily because I want to be here, but actually I know, okay, I can go in there and then I can obviously make a difference. And then I guess pass the baton on for someone else to move into it. And then young people or older people who want to be in that position just believe that you can get there. I've been there. You've been there. You've seen me with my slippers in the corner shop. We're both the same people. Yeah, go and take up your seat if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, but not everybody does take up the seat. That's what I'm trying to say. Not everybody. It's not that people. I don't think it's that people are selfish, but it's. I think when you say that you're unique in that respect, you are unique in the sense that you would take these things on and you'd want to create change. It seems like you want to see and make improvements that a lot of people wouldn't even bother with.
Yeah. For me, it's always about making progress. It's always about working towards your why. Like, and I don't even know if I even know what my why is yet. And for me, it's all about learning. How do I continue putting one foot in front of the next? How do I keep learning? Sometimes jumping in the deep end of something that I don't even know anything about, and getting better and working my way up. And then once I'm at the top, it's not about dwelling there and saying, look at me. It's about, okay, let's dive in somewhere else. What else can we learn? How can we support and help in another way? And I guess that's what keeps me happy. And as I say, are you alive or are you living? So it keeps me living and learning new things, and that's what drives me forward for sure.
So then, whose idea was it? Not so much whose idea, because being a female, being quite a busty woman yourself, yeah. The whole sports bra thing. How did that all come up?
Well, to me, my family's always been quite blessed with at the top end of things. And for me, it really, as you can see from the earlier pictures, it came overnight because there was nothing there originally. And for me, that was brilliant because it meant I could sometimes disguise myself as a boy wearing like woolly caps and playing football. And then
yes. I noticed the little disguise that you drop in
and getting through. But then for me, it was really, I noticed it was a barrier to girls participating. It also was a barrier for me, but because I loved sport so much, it wasn't going to stop me. And I know, for example, a lot of girls, they don't love it, they like it, but then when it starts becoming too much, they'll just pack it in. So really, I wanted other girls to enjoy. Like I said, I went to school every day. I loved playing sports. My school uniform was a tracksuit, so I was playing sports like every single day.
That's right. Queen's Park was a tracksuit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then what I found when I transitioned into teaching, is that there was a lot of girls that were coming in enthusiastic, same as me, sliding on concrete at 11. They'd get to around 14, and then it would be like, nah, it's not for me. And they're the girls who couldn't get off the field. So It was really about looking at what that transition was. And for me, it was recognizing that a sports bra was one of the key reasons that actually they weren't equipped enough to be able to just come and participate or just learn. So I use the analogy of like a maths lesson. When I arrive to my maths lesson, I've got my calculator, my pens, my protractor. I just turn up and I learn because I've got the equipment. Without a sports bra, I'm now thinking about how am I moving? How am I feeling? Who's watching me? Is everything in place before I?
I when we used to go to the athletics and stuff, I was watching. I was
see, so this is
I
it.
was
So
watching.
they've got to think of all of this before they can even start taking on the subject knowledge, before they can start enjoying the different sports and making progress. So for me, I want to get to a place where girls can arrive equipped, and actually now they're just, the first thing they're doing is having fun or taking on the subject knowledge. And a sports bra is one of those barriers that I think definitely it needs to be a recommendation as part of a school uniform.
Well, Nike got behind it, didn't they?
Yeah, massive. So we've been doing some research along with Nike, which hopefully should be coming out soon. So that just got wrapped up at the end of August. So that should be out soon. And yeah, we run some sports programs. One of them is called Girls Aloud, which is a multi-sports activity that we run that just focuses on, number one, getting girls moving, making sure they're equipped with the right sport with a sports bra. And we're not necessarily saying wear a Nike one. There's loads of different other ranges.
I get that, but it's
to
just
see what
that
works for you. Yeah,
I'm trying to express just exactly what sort of, when you talk about creating change, you're not yes, you come from the grassroots, but you're utilizing the position that you've managed to find yourself in, and taking it to the highest level. And once you've got somebody like a sponsor such as Nike behind it, it means that people will listen, people will respond. And not only that, but it makes you a role model.
Yeah, in a sense. And for me, it's taking on that responsibility. I'm happy to do that because I know the impact that it's going to have on a bigger scale. So even with the bra project with Nike, they've got the resources for me to even upscale my idea from just the bra to now actually we're having breast education. So it's about actually understanding how the body is, and not just for girls, because boys need to understand it as well, and they will have daughters. Yeah,
I need a big pouch. I need a big pouch because Lymph ain't the only one who had problems. Lymph was not the only one.
Yeah. So again, it's a learning cycle, and even for some of these young people, their mums haven't had that breast or bra education. So it's a cycle that they never had to engage with. So it's all about teaching both with the young people, but also adults. Like, everyone is going to be moving. As Nike says, if you've got a body, you're an athlete, you move. So how do we ensure that you're looking after it in the best possible way?
Okay, because Antigua has said that sports bras make all the difference. Her daughters are both representing their secondary and primary schools in netball. And her eldest certainly has a difference wearing a proper fitted sports bra. It's a game changer, literally. It's
literally a game changer. And for me, even when I was participating at the highest level, I had to wear like a sports bra with like in a bra shaped one and bandage and another compression sports bra. Like, I don't even know how I was even breathing with all that wrapping that was going on. But for me, it was about, again, finding a solution. How can I make it work? What do I need to do so that I could still enjoy the game of sport? It wasn't about stopping. If I had to put 12 sports bras on, I would have put 12 on and still been able, like, went out and played football.
You would have still played, irrespective. You'd have found a way.
We found a way, 100% found a way.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. And then there's this here. The Prime Minister requests the pleasure of the company of Miss Eartha Pond at a reception to celebrate the outstanding work of teachers at 10 Downing Street. More accolades. Again, something that maybe I should have taken in a bit more of, but again, for me, we've got work to do. Like, I see what kids need to do on the ground, and yes, these receptions are all great, but I guess it's opportunities to network to see how
I can access more opportunities for young people, more access into buildings, into around tables that they will never get to be around. And for me, that's really what it's about. It's not really about me, because my passion and my main love is football, and I've got that. So for the education point is just another thing that I'm growing and able to support others, and that's what drives.
Are you not attracted though to getting back on the field, considering the kind of money is in football today?
Absolutely not. Money is definitely not a driver for me. And I've had a good innings. I've played for over like 20 years. I've played a long time, and I guess for me as well, I've got a really high expectation about performance personally. And if I'm being honest with myself, especially with the sort of 2 injuries, and I'm not getting any younger, I'm not too sure I can compete at that level that I'd want to get to. Okay. And I guess the only other stage there will be coaching is an international level. Okay. And realistically, that's not going to happen. So I've done it. I've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt.
Was you ever approached to play for England?
Yeah, I got my first call up at 16. Well, before I was 16, when I was 15. And I've been in around. I've been to training squads. I've been selected for camps. I've done all that. Never played though. Never capped.
Okay.
Make of it what you wish, but never capped.
Well, I mean, despite all that, I mean, Antigua is saying kudos to you, Eartha, for highlighting issues and opportunities. You have the power to support and promote, which is exactly what you do. Because teaching seems to be it seems to be your fallback to. It seems to be, irrespective of the fact that you've got the sport, it's like you still come back to, I want to teach, or I want to counsel, or it's like it's information, improving things, it's changing policies. It's like, yeah, the football and that is fun, but is that really making change? It's about changes for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I guess football is very subjective when you get to the elite level. It's down to someone else's opinion on if they want to play you or not, or if they want to select you or not. And I guess I have that autonomy within my classrooms, within my settings, to, I guess, give those opportunities and, I guess, make young people aspirational and challenge them and just see how they react. And I guess I'm more in control of what happens next in that sense. And maybe that opportunity of not playing or getting capped for England is something where I've just been like, okay, it's down to someone else's opinion. If they don't want to play you, they don't play you, and that's just how it is. You can't cry over spilt milk. Like, what else can you do? Like what else can you get on with? So for me, it's really about making sure that others do have that opportunity and to go and prove themselves. And I'm not someone who sort of holds anyone back, in essence.
No, and you're quite forthright in your opinions too. Would you say you're stubborn? Would you say you're a stubborn person?
I don't know if stubborn's the word. I guess when I've made a decision, I've tend to have assessed it from a lot of different angles before I'm like, okay, that's really it. It's not just, oh, I've thought of it once and that's what it is. Actually, I've considered the other options, and yeah, I still believe that's what it is. So I can back up the reason why I've made a decision, but it's not necessarily to say it's always right. But it's not an off the cuff decision. It's definitely something I've broken down and come to a decision about. Okay,
because I've seen you in heated debate, and I've seen you going backwards and forwards, and it's like no. There's a holistic way of looking at this kind of like thing. There's no one way kind of like thing. And what really I admire is the way that you can get that across, right? Once again, on a very high level. I mean, I'm not really a fan of the person who's interviewing you here or you're having a discussion with, but here's a classic example. That interview was a hell of a lot longer. It was a hell of a lot longer. I couldn't get it all in, obviously not. But it was talking about fining parents, yeah, for not was it not attending school? yeah, and you kind of felt that, well, there's more to this debate than just a case of just finding parents, if I'm correct, yeah?
Definitely. As I said, it's about that joint of collaborative working. And it's funny even looking at that debate now that they're saying that parents should take more responsibility of what their kids do. But these are the same people who want your kids to choose if they can have a jab by themselves. And all of a sudden they can make their own decisions.
Right.
But you want to run to the parents when they're late and they're not in school. But you want to give them the responsibility to say they can have an injection. Make it make sense.
That's all you're asking. Just make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. I mean, I'll hold back my own views when it comes to that. But it's the way in which you actually got him to agree with you. At the end of it, he actually get. But did you fight? Was that quite confrontational for you?
Yeah, it was. But I guess I've got the receipts from it happening on the ground, and I know how it can escalate quite quickly, and I know the impact of money and fining parents and what's the pros and cons of doing that, and who's the people who lose out in the end and the bigger picture. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, and that I guess was my opinion, because I know the impact, the bigger impact that it has on the families, on the young person, the running around, the chasing, the admin that the schools have to do. And actually, we just need to focus on the child, focus on nurturing them, and I guess making them make better decisions, not money going into government for people to press buttons and send letters, yet they can't be accountable and haven't met their KPIs that they're meant to do in their year. So yeah, it's again just using education as a scapegoat, and nobody's got time for that. Okay.
Well, on that note, we've actually run out of time because it has been an extremely entertaining hour sitting down here talking about yourself, actually, which I know that a hell of a lot of people are going to find extremely interesting the moment that Facebook is up again. But what next for Eartha Pond? What next? What can we expect from you? I mean, you're a counsellor, you're into sport, you're into making life easier for the girls to, really take advantage of the fact now that, the floodgates have been opened, in the sense that football is now on TV, so that means that they're now competing with men, you're all about fairness, not tokenism sort of like thing. As a counsellor, obviously you're dealing with lots of local issues and you're trying to create change. But what next for Eartha Pond?
So yeah, what's next for Eartha Pond? Definitely considering moving up from politics with a small p to politics with a big P. But just again weighing up to see if it's the right thing for me, and what that looks like. Definitely someone who says, "Don't tell me, show me." So in regards to education, looking at creating something that has the young people first at the forefront. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. And then I guess just delivering the other programs that I have been doing in the meantime. So for example, our Prom 8 program, which looks at accelerated learning and reducing exclusions, keeping kids in school, is super important. And then we need to have a health and balanced lifestyle. So that well-being piece with our Girls Aloud project alongside Nike in getting girls moving is also super important. So they're really the main things that I'm working on, as well as living, enjoying life, seeing family, seeing friends. The last 2 years have been really hard on everyone. So it's important to spend time with people that you love. And yeah, that's finding time to have downtime.
So tell me, I know that's one thing we have not actually spoken about, which is what is downtime for you?
What is downtime? Downtime is just spending time, quality time with family. As I said, I come from quite a big family as it is. So just allocating time to getting to see them and getting to see some of my friends. So one of the images had these are friends that I've gone from primary school to secondary school to godparents of their children's cousins, all wrapped up. So yeah, more of that time, more having fun with friends and family, and making sure that the work-life balance is in line, which is super important.
So what does that mean? I'll be seeing you brocking out and twerking down in one of them local clubs pretty soon.
Nah, if you said a bogle or a side shuffle, that could have been me, but the twerking and all that sorts of stuff, that's definitely not my forte.
So you didn't catch Strictly Come Dancing the other day then?
Oh yeah, I saw Judy doing her thing. I told Judy. So we done a back to school drive where we was giving out uniforms for families just before they returned back to school. And I saw Judy, she came to donate some stuff, and I told her on movie night, if she doesn't do Dancehall Queen, we're switching off. She's got to do dance. She's got to dance the Dancehall Queen on movie night. Okay. And she just mash up the dance for sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing if she does that. But yeah, she's doing her thing, and yeah, big ups to Judy Love for sure.
Judy tore it up on Saturday. When I say she tore it up, she tore the place down. The only thing was that technically she weren't doing what they really requested.
But that's we know the technicality. The technicality is not going to be there because you're going in all different directions, shapes, rhythm. For them, they've just got to keep to beat in it, so they can bring that technicality. But when you're going wild and listening to the music and your head takes you just do what you need to do in it. Judge me in it, but you guys can't keep into rhythm, turn the shapes, go up and down, and do what I do. So you can keep your elbows out and your toes pointed, but you're not gonna keep the performance like me. You're not gonna bring the vibe. So yeah, Judy Love for the win.
That's true. She brought the vibe. And thank you very much, Eartha, for bringing the vibe tonight on Keep It Real. I will be watching you very closely and keeping in touch with what you're getting up to, and possibly highlighting it throughout the year and possibly next year as well, in time to come. Please keep doing what you're doing, young lady.
I love the young lady bit. Thank you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You deserve that. You're talking to an old man. To believe me, trust me. You're an old man right about now. You know what I mean? But no, extremely proud of the work that you're doing, and especially the fact that you are somebody that we can hold up very highly as a role model for all the young ladies who are trying to make their way through, especially now that we're starting to have people on the right levels to represent them, to make the changes that we need to see. Because I'm part of the first generation since the Windrush, 1958. And it's only now are we coming into those positions where we can make a change. Dean, what's his name? Dean plays for Watford.
Troy Deeney.
Troy Deeney is a classic.
He's not at Watford. He's at Birmingham now. But
he's at Birmingham. Birmingham.
Yeah, he's gone back to his home club.
Yeah, well, he's definitely made a change as well. I mean, it's because of him people are now taking the knee. It's because of him the shoelaces in the footballers have got rainbow colours. He actually sat on the board that instigated that change, and so it's good to see that more we're being represented more on a lot of different levels, and that's thanks to people like yourself.
Yeah, definitely, and I forgot to say, keep an eye out. There will definitely be something coming out in regards to in the football realm regarding Black people for sure. So it's embargoed at the minute, but once it's out, we'll definitely have to catch up again. Okay,
well, thanks for that. And on that note, I'll let you go.
Amazing. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Great to hear about your work, Eartha. It's very inspiring. That's coming from Antigua. Claire says, interesting interview, Miss Pond. Clap, 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 clap. And I think I should give you a round of applause. That's the gunshot, sorry.
You heard me say Paddington, you started putting gunshots on.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? That's why I leave ours then, because I like to hear a little bit of... I don't feel comfortable, I just don't feel comfortable. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes, wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this week on Keep It Real. As you can see, my guest tonight was Miss Eartha Pond, councillor, should I say, councillor Eartha Pond. I don't know why your name hasn't shown up. Yes, it is. Yes, there you go. Councillor Eartha Pond. So please do join me next week Okay, and you guys stay safe. Thank you very much, and good night. Well, thank you for watching Keep It Real, and my guest tonight, Miss Eartha Pond. An exceptional lady, you will agree, changing the narrative when it comes to sport and education, and ultimately reaching for the stars. But join me next week when I will be joined by Sean Wallace, better known as the Dark Destroyer on The Chase.
And your name is?
Sean Wallace,
Your occupation?
barrister and part-time lecturer.
There's so much more to me. So tune in to me next week, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and I will see you guys next Monday. Have a good week. Well, thank you for watching Keep It Real.